She never threw away a bone of carrot top or a scrap of stale bread. Doctors today might call her malnourished, but new research from Cornell University suggests her instinct for bone broth was decades ahead of modern nutritional science. Number 18 on this list uses an ingredient most people today toss straight into the trash, yet it contains more minerals than anything you'll find in the supplement aisle at a pharmacy. Number 7 was once so common that the government printed the recipe on the back of flour sacks, yet today it has completely vanished from American kitchens. These 30 meals sustained an entire generation on just a few cents a day, designed for one pot, one stove, and someone too hungry to waste anything. Most of them taste better than anything canned you can buy today. Subscribe because every one of these recipes still works, and we're counting down 30 forgotten Dust Bowl era meals that anyone living alone deserves to know. Number 30, water soup. It sounds like a joke, but water soup was real and it fed millions. A pot of boiling water, one diced onion, a pinch of salt, and whatever scraps remained in the icebox potato peels, a limp celery stalk. Families in Appalachia and the Dust Bowl Plains survived for weeks on this when nothing else remained. The trick was to toast a slice of stale bread and place it at the bottom of the bowl, so the hot broth softened it, making it feel like a real meal. For someone living alone, water soup is still a way to use every last scrap in the refrigerator. Number 29, potato peel soup. No one threw away potato peels during the Great Depression. Homemakers kept them in cold water, then simmered them with onions and bay leaves until the broth turned thick and starchy. Modern nutritionists confirm that most of a potato's vitamins lie just beneath the skin, exactly the part our grandparents were eating all along. A sack of potatoes cost about 2 cents in 1934, and the peels alone could make soup for 2 meals. Number 28, Depression egg drop soup. Bring salted water or thin broth to a rolling boil. Beat 1 egg, then drizzle it slowly through the tines of a fork into the swirling liquid. The egg instantly cooks into delicate ribbons. 1 egg 5 minutes and you have a protein meal for less than a penny. Perfect for someone tired eating alone at the kitchen table. Number 27. Bread soup. Stale bread was considered currency. Tear 2 or 3 slices into a pot. Pour water or milk over it. Add salt and a bit of butter and simmer until everything melts together into a thick porridge. In Pennsylvania, Dutch communities, this was called milk soup, and children grew up thinking of it as a special treat. Number 26, bean bone soup. After a family finished a ham hock, the bone went straight into the pot with dried navy beans, onions, and water. Simmered for hours, it released marrow and collagen into a broth so thick a spoon could almost stand upright. A pound of dried beans cost 3 cents and made enough soup to feed one person for nearly a week. Number 25, cabbage soup. Cabbage was the poor man's best friend. 1 head cost 5 cents and could feed a person for 3 days. Shredded cabbage, diced onion, canned tomatoes, if available, salt, pepper, and water simmered until soft and sweet. It tasted even better on the second day when the flavors deepened overnight. Number 24, Hoover stew. Named ironically after President Hoover, this was desperation food. Sliced hot dogs, canned stewed tomatoes, canned corn, and cooked pasta all went into one pot, filling cheap and requiring no skill. A person living alone today can still make a full pot for under $3 and keep it for 4 days. Number 23, onion soup. Not the fancy French version. This Depression-era version was simpler and arguably better. Slice 4 or 5 onions thin. Cook slowly in butter or lard until deeply browned and nearly caramelized. Then add water, salt, and torn stale bread. That slow cooking creates sweetness and depth no bouillon cube can match. Number 22, homemade tomato soup. Before canned soup became standard, every grandmother made tomato soup from scratch. Canned tomatoes, a bit of butter, a pinch of baking soda to reduce acidity, salt, and a splash of milk at the end. The baking soda trick removed sharp acidity without adding sugar. A can of tomatoes cost about 5 cents in 1935. Number 21, Rivel soup. A Pennsylvania Dutch classic nearly gone today. Make small dumplings by rubbing egg and flour between your fingers so pea-sized crumbs fall into boiling milk or broth. They cook in 2 minutes, turning thin liquid into something rich and satisfying. These meals were never just food. They were dignity when all you had were a few coins. Proof that even when the world collapsed, a warm bowl and a little ingenuity could hold a person together. Number 20, split pea soup. Dried peas were a staple. 1 bag, a leftover pork bone, an onion, and a few carrots. Simmer for 2 hours, and the peas dissolve into a thick green soup. By 1936, the U.S. Department of Agriculture distributed dried peas through relief programs as the cheapest protein source available. Number 19, dandelion soup. Before lawn chemicals turned yards into poison fields, dandelion greens were free food. Families gathered them in spring from fields and roadsides. Sautéed with garlic and onions, then simmered with a potato for thickness, the soup was earthy, slightly bitter, and rich in vitamins A and C. Number 18, potato soup. The king of depression soups. Dice 4 potatoes, simmer with onions in salted water until soft, mash slightly in the pot, then stir in milk and butter. It fed more American families in the 1930s than any other recipe. The starch gives it a creamy texture without cream. Number 17, corn chowder. Sweet corn cut from the cob or from a can, simmered with diced potatoes, onions, and milk. The natural sugars in corn provided sweetness craved by both children and the elderly. For someone cooking alone, a can of corn and 2 potatoes become a comforting, hearty soup. Number 16, mulligan stew. Born in hobo camps along railroad lines, this was the original community soup. Everyone added what they had, a carrot, a potato, scraps of meat. The rule was simple: if you eat, you contribute. At home, it's the best way to make sure nothing in the fridge goes to waste. Number 15, navy bean soup. The U.S. Senate dining room has served navy bean soup daily since 1903. During the Depression, navy beans were distributed free through surplus programs. The recipe: dried beans, water, smoked pork bone, onion, butter, salt, and pepper. Still served today because it still works cheap, filling, nutritious. Number 14, pepper pot soup. A Philadelphia classic nearly lost. Beef tripe simmered with potatoes, onions, celery, and cracked pepper in a rich broth. Tripe cost almost nothing because few people wanted it, but when cooked slowly, it became tender and silky. Number 13, lentil soup. Lentils cook faster than any dried bean, just 45 minutes from bag to bowl. Families who couldn't afford long cooking times relied on them. They break down into a thick, almost meat-like soup without needing anything else. Number 12, vegetable scrap broth. Homemakers kept a bowl in the icebox for onion ends, carrot tops, celery leaves, potato peels. When full, everything went into a pot with water and simmered for an hour, creating a golden broth richer than anything from a cube. Waste became wealth. Number 11, chili bean soup. 1 can of kidney beans, diced onion, a spoon of chili powder, and water simmered until thick. Cheap chili powder transformed bland beans into something worth sitting down for. 1 pot could last 3 days and tasted better each time it was reheated. Here's what no one tells you: the knowledge never disappeared, only the willingness to use it did. Food companies don't want you to know you can make complete meals for the price of yesterday's newspaper. Number 10, cream of anything soup. Depression cooks invented the base, later turned into billion-dollar canned products. Melt butter, stir in flour, slowly add milk until thick. Then add any vegetable, celery, mushrooms, asparagus scraps. 1 person doesn't need 17 cans, just 1 formula and whatever's on sale. Number 9, chicken foot soup. Chicken feet cost almost nothing because no one wanted them, but they're rich in collagen and gelatin, turning plain water into thick, nourishing broth. Modern science confirms collagen supports joint health, gut lining, and skin elasticity, exactly what older adults need most. Number 8, barley soup. Barley was the poor man's grain. A handful thickens any soup and keeps you full for hours. A pound cost 3 cents and lasted weeks. Number 7, flour sack soup. When flour was distributed through relief programs, recipes printed on the sack included this simple soup: toast flour in butter until nutty, add water, slowly season with salt and pepper. The toasted flour creates depth, turning plain water into something resembling gravy. Number 6. Garlic broth. 40 cloves of garlic, a bay leaf, sage, olive oil, and water simmered for 30 minutes. Believed to cure colds, settle the stomach, and restore strength. Allicin in garlic has proven antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties, especially helpful during flu season. Number 5. Buttermilk soup. Common in the rural South and Midwest, this was a cold summer dish. Buttermilk, crumbled cornbread, diced onion, salt, and pepper mixed in a bowl and eaten with a spoon. Buttermilk was nearly free, a byproduct of butter making. Number 4. Bone marrow soup. Bones roasted until marrow turned golden, then simmered for hours with onion, celery, and a splash of vinegar to extract minerals. Calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and collagen dissolve into the broth. Today, companies sell this for $8 a carton. Depression cooks made it for free. Number 3. Peanut soup. Originating from West African and Southern U.S. cuisine. Sauté onions and celery. Add broth, stir in 3 spoonfuls of peanut butter seasoned with cayenne. The peanut butter melts into a rich, protein-packed soup that feels deeply comforting. Number 2. Potato onion soup with poached egg. A 15-minute dinner made from nearly free ingredients. Simmer potatoes and onions until soft, crack an egg directly into the broth and poach for 3 minutes. The yolk breaks like liquid gold, enriching every spoonful. A complete meal in one bowl. Number 1. Stone soup. Not just a folktale, this was real. In rural depression, communities' neighbors each brought something. Onions, carrots, potatoes, bone salt. Together they made a pot that fed everyone. For those living alone today, this is the most important recipe, not for its ingredients, but its meaning. You don't have to eat alone. A pot of soup is always an invitation. Try one of these this week, just one: potato soup, egg drop soup, or bean bone soup. Then, come back and tell me which one your grandmother used to make. These aren't just soups. They are survival. They are dignity when all you have are a few coins. Your grandmother knew this. Now you do too.